Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mike Toledo, along with Joe Garcia. Listen, we got a two-part series here, a two-part podcast. It gets a little deep. Talk about social media, about, does it have control? Does it keep you anxiety? Do you have a lot of anxiety? And what are the top 10 ways that you can obtain your ideal client? Now, between Joe and I, it's like 20. 5 of them, I think, are the same. Anyways, let's get started. Just letting you know, it's a two-part series, so stick around, regardless if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or if you're downloading it and watching it later. My name is Mike Toledo. Thanks again for watching. Let's get cracking. All right, Mr. Joe, how you been doing, dude?
I've been good, man. I'm good. I'm excited to do this one because we've been talking about it a little bit, and I know I'm going to learn some stuff with what you come up with. And what's our topic on this one? You want to let them know?
Yeah. Well, our topic is 10 things you need to know, or suggestions to target your ideal client. Now, I wrote down 10. I'll be honest with you, Joe. It didn't take me long to think about it. I mean, you've been practicing those things. I've been practicing these things.
Yes.
We haven't communicated which ones we wrote down though. And so hopefully we have some good, unique ones compared to, I mean, I'm looking forward. It would be great if we were exactly the same, but I don't think that's possible. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear what you say, and you go one and I go one and then you go one.
Yeah.
How's that? So
Yeah.
we'll
Great.
spit out 20, and
Yeah.
probably some of them will be common.
And that's why I'm kind of excited about it, Mike, because I know, like, you and I do things, I wouldn't say completely opposite, but we do things pretty differently, and we have different outcomes. But we find that our way of success to success. But I'll tell you, I kind of uh, I know you're gonna probably have stuff that I'm hoping that you have stuff that I don't know, that maybe is the missing link to my program, right? And that's going to help my business. And maybe mine, maybe I'll have some, I don't know. You're pretty seasoned in this realm, but maybe somebody else will learn too, who's listening. So that being said, I didn't come up with, I kind of tried to anticipate a little bit of what you're going to do to get those ideal clients, um like the avatar, knowing the avatar. So rather than me saying what I know that you know about this, I only have one of my 10 that is actual, like, task oriented, that a listener can go do right now, and, like, right this minute, and improve their business.
Yeah.
The rest of them, the other 9 on mine, are more mindset things, for training for your brain, and just acclimating yourself in order to know how to not only get those kind of clients, ideal clients, but what to do when they're right in front of you.
Yeah, I think some of the viewers will be surprised. It's not just, our typical what we've been saying. Some of them, well, I mean, excited to say it. I mean, it's going to be interesting, okay, to say the least.
Yeah.
You and I work on our businesses a lot, and it is one of the things I'm going to be saying in here. Right? So I don't want to give too much away. I'm excited to do it. Let's just go for it, and meanwhile, before we get into that, okay, I'm creating a new video series, and I'm excited to tell everybody out there. And Joe, you've seen a little bit of what I'm doing.
Yes.
I bought this 360 camera, Insta360. It is by far one of the best 360 cameras I've had. I bought the 360 Max from GoPro. I think you've seen me one time. I had my dog on the bicycle, and I was doing one of those videos right there.
Yeah.
It was a lot of, shall I say, a lot of editing to that video.
Mhm.
360 Max is 10 times easier right out of the box. Point, shoot. I mean, you just mount it, hit record, and worry
Yeah.
about that later, right? And it goes in your app, and then you can edit on your phone, or better yet, edit on your computer, which is easy peasy. And I've been having a lot of fun with it, man. So I can't wait to start pumping some videos out there, kind of showing the different perspective of PDR. That's basically what it is. I'm trying to, Joe, I get really bored about doing the same things, dude. Like, I think I've told you this before, right? You don't see videos from me for a while. It's because I'm thinking. I'm thinking. All right. I don't want to do the same stuff all the time. So I'm creating new content, and I'm actually pretty happy that I'm not doing training right now, because when I'm not training, it allows me to grow my business. So
right on there. Yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out of this, out of the new camera setup. And you're always Mike Toledo's always creating something.
Yeah, we are. Oh, we're in the mix. And Joe, I have to say, man, your videos have been really phenomenal, bro. It's like, not just like, if you looked back, have you gone back and maybe looked back a year and a half ago on your Instagram and saw like your videos, how they were? And by no means your videos were never bad, dude. They just feel like they just,
some of them were.
Well, yeah, they're not. No, they were never bad, dude. Never. It's just your style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But your style, I tell people, like, PDR, your trade, whatever you're doing, if you're doing video edits or whatever, there's a style, right, that you develop, and you add to it, and you add to it, and you add to it, and then your style just gets, I don't know how you would say, more fluid.
It evolves.
Yeah, it just evolves, and it gets better. And that's what I see in you. And I'm not just saying it because you're my co-host with me and stuff, but people see your videos and they're really good, Joe.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, man. It's become a labor of love, and I've had to force myself to learn to love it, just like PDR, and it's just another limb, if you will. Another
what I noticed though, what I noticed when I'm watching your video, it's not, I could care less about how good of a tech you are, honestly. I know you're a good tech, but that's not what impresses me. What impresses me is your ability to get your point across to the consumer in such a way that it's very engaging, right? It's super engaging. That's what I'm intimate. That's why I get sucked into. That, right? That's what gets me going.
Wow, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah. My Siri said, sorry, I don't know that word. I don't even know who the hell was that talking to?
AI, man. They're supposed to take over.
Scary, bro. Did you see 60 Minutes? The last 60 Minutes?
Were they talking about AI?
Holy crap. They had this like robot, just a head, dude. And it looked as real as you and me, dude. And it was like a lady, and
that's creepy.
And they were like, wasn't 60 Minutes or something else, maybe, but CNN or whatever it was, they were doing a thing, but it was weird. And
yeah.
Anyways,
Max Headroom.
Kind of wacky. All right, Joe.
Well, thanks for that, Mike. I appreciate that very much. It means a lot, especially coming from you. And because that's really what I'm trying to do is to speak to the consumers. I've said it before on here many, many times. And I think with all these tools that we have at our disposal now, I think no matter if we were doing PDR or anything else, I can't imagine not communicating that, any kind of people business, service, not utilizing this equipment, what our phones are capable of doing is just one, angle. But I mean, social media, Instagram, I mean, I'm on there a lot. I do a lot of my stuff there just because I'm familiar with it. But there's so many other channels, and they're free. They're free. So, it's experiment, and it's fun to have that other channel of communication and just speak directly to our ideal clients, which is what this is about, right? This whole podcast episode.
That's right. Is there anything that, before we get into that too as well, but is there anything that about the business that overwhelms you? Like what part of the business that kind of just Like makes you go like almost makes you kind of get anxiety, dude. Do you have
Oh,
anything? And do you have any? Is there anything particular like that makes you feel that way?
man, that's a loaded question, Mike. And I think that's a whole nother episode.
It probably is. That's probably just a kickoff to another topic.
Yeah.
Why don't we leave it there? Why don't we leave a lift cliffhanger right there?
Yeah.
Huh?
Was there anything in particular that you've been dealing with, or
I
just been
just think
overwhelming?
lately it's been very overwhelming, right? There are just look at the and we won't go into like a beyond like we won't get into a deep discussion about this. All right. We're just gonna kind of like touch on it.
That's fine.
The reason why I'm asking you is because there's different platforms coming out. There's in it. It's not only coming out fast, they are fast, right?
Yes.
The video, the content, the media about it, the swiping thing,
Yeah.
the attention span of somebody. Everything is just bang, 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 dude. Right. And it's like a super fad. Like it's like, oh, it's hot, it's hot, it's cold,
Yeah.
cold, 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 cold. It's hot, 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 it's cold, 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 cold.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, hold on a second, dog. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I think it makes you lose your what was your goal, man? Like, you know,
Oh yeah.
wait a minute. What's my goal here? My goal is my client. Right? And
Mhm.
then I get sucked up into the thing, but that's we could talk about that, dude. So that's why I asked you, and you can maybe say maybe a little bit what you think.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like I said, there's multiple, you know, avenues we can go down in there in that in particular subject, because there are things that are anxiety inducing, and for me it used to be the phone ringing and not knowing what to say. But I feel like I've figured a lot of that out even this year, with just my recording our conversations, recording conversations with the prospects. But what I think you're alluding to is like the anxiety of social media. And
Yeah, because I'm a content creator, right?
yes,
In,
you
in a
are.
way, but I'm also a content business creator, right?
Yep,
Content business marketing creator.
that's right.
Um,
That's right. You get a
I,
lot of
I
views too.
know I have to abide by what's going on now
Mhm.
because if I don't, what type of attention? Remember, I'm always paying attention to the younger generation. I
Mhm.
know because that's my client. I get older, but my customers get younger. That makes
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. And then especially that's who's finding us now, the older customers, they have other ways to find us, but you know, let's face it, the younger or more tech savvy consumers, they're going to find us and through social media. Not only are they going to find us through social media, but they're going to find us w- speaking about what we want to speak about. And
that's right.
so they're going to find out if we all fit, if we fit, their needs or not. And I mean, what better way to find your ideal client than to be able to just make a video of a dent? Your dent might be identical to their dent, and they see that one video of a dent. That's why it's so important to video our dents, but not just before and afters, but us
Right.
speaking. I'm going into my topics here, or my items on my list of 10 things here, but a little bit now. But they want to see Mike Toledo's way of fixing a dent, or Joe Garcia's way of fixing a dent, or you as the listener, who's listening to this right now or watching this, in your market, that you are the one. So, but going back to the social media that being overwhelming, I mean, I've had a taste of your world here recently, Mike. I'm very fortunate. I have a very small group of followers on my Instagram, and that's the one where I'm, like I said, where I have the most subscribers or followers or whatever you want to call them. But long story short, it's a tight knit group. Yeah, I have my regulars, my little community in there. It's mostly other dent guys and some customers now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but it's always encouraging. It's always them sharing their light with me, and me, giving it back. And but here recently I had a video where it got a lot of views, a lot. And which is great, right? That's what we want, I guess. But it gave me a taste into your world, a view into your world, what you get all the time. And it's like a different kind of viewer and a different kind of commenter. And I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, because most of it was positive comments. There were some negative stuff too, but there always is going to be when you get that many views, right? But it was almost overwhelming in a sense of like, I don't even feel like responding to some of these people, because I don't feel like even if they're positive, it's almost like they're, as they say, talking into the ether. Like they're
Passive
just,
aggressive.
no, not even that. Some of them might be, but more like they're saying a comment just out into the internet, and like they're
Yeah, yeah,
spitting into the ocean,
yeah,
like
yeah.
we're shooting an arrow, out into the
I
open blue
that's
yonder,
yep.
and
Yeah,
not even expecting an interaction. You know, I mean, because I respond to everybody who who comments on my stuff, and you build rapport with people that way. But most of them, it's just like, it's just a different feeling. And oddly, there's, I think social media is great. I think it's super positive in a lot of ways, but I think there's some evil or insidious elements to
of
it.
course there is.
You
You
go
have
and
to
look at, yeah, you
you
go
have to draw a
on,
line. You have to draw a
yeah,
line like, well, okay, this is how much I'm willing to
it's,
give social media my time, and then
yeah,
I'm cutting it off, right? And then
absolutely.
how much of attention, like
It's not healthy.
how much should I pay attention to it, right? And how much
Yeah,
should I take that for a grain of salt too, right? Because
that's right.
you know, this is it. When you think you know, you don't know, and when you know, you do know. I think it's kind of it's weird. Like it's you don't know
Well,
what's gonna happen, how it's gonna go, and you might be super big and huge on one platform, and you're just a little friggin' tiny fish in a big, huge sea, dude. Like,
yeah,
and somewhere else. But I think what really matters and how you survive, and what I've been learning right here, Joe. And I know we're tiny bit going off subject, but this is kind of a pre-roll show. But
yeah, yeah,
what it really comes down to is you shouldn't you'll get overwhelmed and you will get off track for a little bit. But if you are really still goal oriented about keep your eye on the ball, right?
hmm,
It doesn't last very long, right? As far as like I'm saying, like the anxiety, the other things.
yeah,
I'm
right.
not gonna lie to you guys. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I get anxiety every now and then, but then I take it back and going, okay, that's because I care. I want to get better, you know. But I don't like it though. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
even me is just like, gosh, I have to keep figuring things out again. It's that's what I'm saying is that you have to like once you get comfortable figuring something out,
yes,
something else comes on, and it's like I told you, it's like a club, dude. Like, oh, this is the happening place, dude, and everybody freaking congregates to that. Then they congregate to that, Like,
yeah.
what was that? My before, not before Facebook. What was that?
Oh,
What was that?
MySpace.
MySpace, right? Look at the era of that. Now we're going way back, but everybody was on MySpace. And when Facebook came, boom, everyone went to
Yeah,
Facebook, dude. Right.
right,
And then
right.
Instagram, bang.
Hmm.
YouTube has always been consistent. So,
Yeah,
anyways, we can keep going on and on about
we
this, dude.
can. I'll
So
say real quick, and that'll be we should do another topic, another episode on that, because there's a lot to talk about there. But real quick, I mean, I think the thing that is overwhelming with social media is like, I think that we're not designed to be rolling the wheel all the time, scrolling, scrolling. And I think that's what the tension that I feel from some comments, and not even necessarily on my own uh, posts, but when I read other comments on other posts, mainly the viral posts. When, like, I don't even go on Facebook that often, right? It's just to do, the occasional post on my Denevo page. But of course, they're feeding you constantly. Well, you can't open up Facebook, for example, without some uh, like viral reels going on, right? Being shown to you. And you're naturally going to click on something. It's going to, because they set it up so that you see what you normally look at or whatever. And you look at it, it doesn't matter what the video is, dude. It does not matter what it is. I'm always, first, because of the morbid curiosity that is in my brain, just the way I am, I go to the comments. What are people saying about this video?
Yeah.
And it's either negative. I'm almost always negative. And if it's not negative, like I said, it's sometimes even positive, but it's people just, there's some kind of tension that I'm reading in their words. Like, there's a sickness right now, and that is too much screen time, dude.
Yeah.
And I think
post screen time, screen syndrome, dude.
I think that's who's making those negative.
We're joking about it, but it's real.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not good for us. And reading that negativity too is not good for us. It's, you know, they say, what's that saying? I think it was Jim Rohn who said, you know, you are the median, the average of the 5 people you're around the most. Well, in the age of social media, you know, we're not around people. We're on the friggin' phone, you know, pardon my language, you know, and we're exposing ourselves to that, maybe not one single person, but a certain kind of energy that is becoming a force, and it's a disease. That's the real pandemic.
I realized that, dude. And the reason why I realize it's so bad that I don't want to know how many views I'm getting. I turn my notifications off.
Me too.
I don't even go back and look. I haven't, like, since I posted 2 videos lately, I haven't even checked to see what it got.
Yeah.
I try not to look at any of that. When I go to make another post, I don't want to look at that, dude. I don't want to look at how much views I'm getting on YouTube. I don't want to look at how much money I'm making on there. I don't want to know any of that, because it distracts me, man. Like, I feel like it's getting bad, but I feel like at a point I'm going to have to freaking look at it, because I feel like there's something there that I might not, why do I not want to look at it?
Yeah. Right.
It's weird. So I think that's the part of the little bit of the anxiety that I have. And I'm being very open with you guys, man. I'm very, is you guys think that, you know, Mike Toledo is doing this and he shouldn't feel like, why is he feeling like that? No, this is real, man. This is like stuff you guys have no idea until you get to a certain point where it almost feels like, man, why did I even do this, man? What am I getting out of it?
Yeah. You lose focus, right? On what your initial plan was, right?
Right. And then I was telling you, I was super excited, and I am, because I go back and I look at, and what I do is I watch videos. You know how to get back on track? If you do videos enough, or if you've documented yourself enough, go back and look at like how you evolved, right? What part of that evolution were you most happiest with? It's usually some parts of the beginning. Like, wow, man, I was really focused right there. I really knew exactly what I wanted to do right there, you know? And all these videos that's a really good video, you know, that I need to get back to that. You know what I mean? And because I feel like now it's all about entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all of a sudden now we're entertainers, dude. Like, F that, dude.
No. And I think we get confused, and it's real easy to fall off track and lose your center. So we have to know our center, what our focus is. The other thing, Mike, is that we are evolving along with the internet. The internet's evolving. The social media, you know,
it's dictating us.
But humankind are evolving too, and it can dictate us, a lot of people, you know, but we don't have to allow it.
No, that's why we have this podcast.
Just like we have to control what goes into our head, the thoughts in our head, before they control us. You know, we have to control those are thoughts, somebody else's thoughts.
That's a serious thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we have to stay on track with what our purpose is. And
what they say.
Go ahead.
I just picked up my phone again, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably, I bet you it's higher. I need to watch. My phone's greasy. I am a very greasy guy, dude. All right.
These lights, man.
I have
they show
oily.
everything.
I know it's true. I'm oily, dude. All right. I have greasy, and then my face is dry. I don't know why, but my face is dry, but
You're
my
a
hands are
thin guy.
oily. My son is 10 times like he's worse, dude. Like he's
Really?
got me times 10, dude. You can't even
That's
shake his
funny.
hand. It's like super clammy, dude. You know what I mean? So it
Sweaty
is.
kid.
Yeah. Anyways, I forgot I lost my track of thought. So anyways,
Well,
I just, as long as you are aware, I think you'll be in control. When you're not, that's, when you're on your phones 150 times a day
yeah.
picking it up, and it's worse because we have to check it because we're business owners. We're looking for
Mhm.
emails, right? We're looking for text messages, and next thing you know, we get distracted when, oh, this person liked your post or this person commented on your post, and then
Yeah.
and then now all of a sudden you're
Yeah,
sucked in.
or even just a distraction, you go on Instagram or whatever social media, and there's, I go to search somebody that I need to get a hold of. I need to find their number, and there's the explore page, and
Dude, I'm
and I'm like,
telling
what
you,
did I even
man.
come in here for?
They
Right?
they will never put on Facebook saying like just go to your page. They will never do that, dude.
No.
Like they're capable of doing, and they know it, dude. Like,
Yeah.
right? Or and
Absolutely.
some people's like, I hate Facebook, right? Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
what about your other platforms, right?
Yeah.
Um, anyways,
Yeah.
let's get
There's a
into it. You
movie.
said, why don't you start, because you said you already kind of mentioned it, dude. So why don't you just mention? I
Okay.
think I might
So
have said the same. I had the same thing, but go ahead.
yeah, real quick before I start though, going back the social media thing. Not that I want to keep beating on that, but I think what we need to do as professionals in our trade and what we want to communicate, we need to be sure that we're not posting stuff on our PDR pages searching for validation from others. We should never be expecting that. This is the same advice I'll give to my kids. I don't want them ever being on social media until they're 18, but that's a different story. But I don't think it's healthy to try and seek validation from others, and we need to stay true to ourselves and to the humans that we're serving,
Right,
right? And that's what we're here to do. We're here to serve, and
right.
that's
I
do
agree.
in our own way. So that being said, that kind of ties into our list here. And like I said, mine are mostly mindset things. But I'll start off with the one that is not a mindset. It's an actual task oriented, you know, thing that you can do right now, and that is go to your Google business listing. If you don't have a Google business listing, get one. Create it for your business in the business name. There's steps to do that. You can find that on Google. And once you do, or if you already have one, do update every day if you can. Photos too. Mike, you and I have talked about this many times, and photos get a lot of views on Google, and they'll get you a lot of traffic to people who are looking for your service or service like yours, and them to get in front of you. I post updates. I've been experimenting with that quite a bit, Mike. I've kind of let you know, and the video, you can do video updates. Google's a little finicky about it. What you can post, what you can't post.
What is it?
You,
What is it that you can post? What have you found out that you can't post?
um, well, they have a rules and regulations page, and they say it on there, but you don't want to make it look real spammy. Whatever that means, they say they don't want it to look like spam
Like an
because then,
advertisement?
yeah, like an advertisement, which is crazy because it is advertisement, is it not? I mean, it's a business listing. You want to get people to see your what you're
Yeah,
doing,
I
right?
would probably think that they probably don't want a lot of text in the video, and they probably don't want to follow me something at the end like I do a lot.
Yeah.
They probably just want it as plain and organic as possible. That's probably what they're trying to say, right? So,
I think so. I think what maybe they want is like just a natural, organic looking, like a selfie video saying, "Hey, I'm Mike Toledo or I'm Joe Garcia, and we're here. We are. We're going to fix this dent or whatever." Or here's our. They encourage, what they do encourage is like pictures or video of your staff. For example, if you have employees or your storefront of your brick and mortar. In my case, I don't have a storefront. I don't have a staff. So what do? I do show plenty of before and after, but not just before and after. And especially if it's a video, I like to show the during. I like to show how I do the work, how it's done. And I'll even show like just a picture of my truck with in my case, my mobile unit. I have a like a barn door style rear part of the utility shell, no tailgate, but it's just so I'll have the doors open before I take all my equipment out. On there, you'll see my generator, you'll see my DeWalt toolbox. It's kind of striking. And mine is black and yellow, and then my license plate is black and yellow. It's a California license plate. And so and that wasn't by accident. That was, I'm trying to make my stuff make it look congruent and just a little bit sharp, so I'm kind of dressing the part. Yeah, exactly.
That's great advice, dude. I mean, that's a matter of fact, I had that on my list too.
So. Well, I want you to say it anyway, because that wasn't really mine. Remember this part of my list, and I gotta I gotta hurry it up here because I don't want to spend all time on one item. But it was the Google business listing, and that photo. What I'll do is I'll take a photo before I take all my stuff out, and it'll be at an angle where it captures the back of my truck with the tools, the equipment there, and the vehicle I'm going to be working on. And I'll take that photo and I'll put it through an app where you can put text on the photo, and I'll put something as simple as dent removal on site in city of Upland. Or city of Claremont, or whatever town I'm in. So I'm letting them know a lot with that one picture.
That's right. Mobile. Keep it simple.
I come to your location. I'm in this area where you fix the dent.
It's SEO friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
SEO friendly. Yeah, I believe it too. Action shots, like, by far have the best, I would say, reactions from the Google people. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
If you took a picture of your truck, right, and then you did a before and after, like just a split before and after, it doesn't get as many views as it does as maybe a person in the photo, or something that's very interesting in the photo, right? Just something other than I did my test, man. I did my test. It's always, if you have a person with something interesting in there or an action shot of some sort, it'll kill the before and afters.
And I've followed your advice on that, Mike, because I've seen it happen. And just as like what you're saying, but you're having a person in there, and that was the next thing I was going to say, is like in that Google update or photo, whichever you decide to do, I video myself, as do you, and a lot of our listeners video ourselves working on a dent, right? And while you're videoing, you can take your video and you can screenshot a scene, a part where it's got your good side, or you look cool, right?
I do that.
And I turn it into a photo to put on there. And, just again, you're communicating your brand, and it's an opportunity. So that's my main task oriented item on my list here.
Cool.
And we can have a whole show on just Google business listing.
Trust me. Yeah, trust me. We can have a whole show on every single topic of this. Okay.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Mine is sure, so I don't say it again, because mine's educational 1-minute videos.
Okay.
I feel like this is about targeting your ideal client, right? So you want to target your ideal client. What is one of the first things what is the best way to have the client know you, know what your business is about, how to educate them about your business, about what you do. It could be how a dent is removed, which is super powerful, because if you show them how you remove a dent and you do it right and it looks good and you're not wasting their time by doing it, They're impressed. They know you can fix a dent, right? So that's pretty cool. Well, general cost videos like, hey, this isn't exactly what this cost would be. Well, what would generally this cost be? What's the price range of something like that?
Yes.
If you have, even though your competition doesn't say anything about price and you do,
Right.
they believe you're telling the truth more than anything, right?
That's right.
So they know you're giving them a choice already. It's like, okay, so when they call you, they're ready to do business with you because they kind of got an idea. They already have an idea of what you're going to charge based on these videos that you have. Not saying that you have to say an exact cost. I think that's because prices change, right? So I would have a variety of different possibilities of what this costs. You could even say, in this video was based in 2023 and the prices were set between this and this, right? So even if it's 10 years later, it still makes sense to the client, right? Because they know that, well, prices probably went up since then.
Yes.
General cost videos, insurance videos, like meaning, hey, did you know that our team Dent Time takes insurance? So if your cost is over your deductible, no problem. We can take care of your insurance. We work with them. Have a script done ready. Have something there. A lot of people, Joe's, they feel like they have to say everything in one shot with no mistakes. Man, I make mistakes all in my videos. It's like, mistake after mistake after mistake, but I keep going, right?
Yeah.
And then I go to edit and I cut it. And that's why you see all these jump cuts in these videos everybody does, but it looks good. It's fine. It's nice. It
gets the point across,
flowy, right?
Yeah.
It gets to the point. I do it all the time. My last video, I did it. I on Instagram.
Yeah.
But the main thing is that think about things that your customers always have questions about, what you feel is important that you want your clients to know about you and how your company runs. Do it in 1 minute or less. Do it in 1 minute or less.
And that's the key. Doing it short
and simple. Short and simple. Right? And the video's got to flow. You can't have, let me show you something here, and then have a break. And it's like 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and then you start talking, or maybe you start showing something, or there's nothing going on. You can't have that either. It's got to be bang, 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 but not so TikTok-ish, but just flowing, right?
Okay.
Nice and clean. So that is something I would definitely put. Now I'll tell you why as we go more. We'll get to this later because I got another one towards the end that will tie everything together, what we're saying. So,
okay,
go ahead, Joe.
Well, I was going to ask you real quick regarding your item there, Mike. What do you recommend to someone who is struggling with getting that point across in a brief amount of time, and they're making the mistakes of, like the breaks and in the video? Like, what do you suggest they do? Is it just a thing about practice?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, it's a script, right? And listen, on Dent Trainer, if you're a Dent Trainer member, I just released a video called Edit PDR Videos Like a Pro, right?
Yeah.
Thorough. It's like over an hour and a half long. I think you saw it, Joe, right?
Yeah, I did. It was great.
And I show the app I'm using. I show how I'm using it. I show why I'm doing what I'm doing. I break it down and I cut a lot of things out, and I'm showing you how I'm like, no, I'm not going to do, look like that. That's too long. I'm going to take you in the action. I'm going to leave you out in the action. It's like action, leave action, go into action. So, but it takes, look, Joe, it takes time. It takes time, but you got to want to do it. Right. And
yeah, you definitely have to. Huh?
You're not just doing it for you, but get excited. Don't do it if you don't want to do it. That's another thing I'm going to tell you. I don't know how to put this in any other nicer way though. But if you're not excited about your business, man, I mean, it's time to get out of the business, man. Like, because your customers are going to see it, or clients. That's what it's called, client. Your clients are going to notice. This guy's he's not very passionate about what he wants to do. He's just trying to sell me something, like sell me a cost. And if you should be excited about wanting to learn new things. when new things, when blogs, right? I used to write blogs because I was like, man, this is the newest thing. And blogs came out, and then video, YouTube came out, and then I bought the first version of Final Cut. I bought, dude, came in this huge box, dude. It's called Final Cut Pro. Like that was the main one, dude. And not Final Cut 10, what we call it now, or Final Cut X.
It was one.
Talking the ones that you had disc, and you had to, dude, it took 2 hours to load all the content in the computer, the Mac computer, bro. That's how you loaded software, dude. It came in all these Ds, and you put it in there. And when I put it on, dude, bro, it was like super overwhelming. I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa, oh my gosh, dude. Like, how am I gonna? But you know what? I didn't let that deter me.
Yeah.
I saw the vision already. I saw, okay, I can do this. If I get through this, my video is gonna be like this, you know, and my business is gonna be like portrayed like this.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Right.
That's the crazy powerful thing about video, Joe, is that you and the viewer, you are in control about how your client perceives you.
That is so powerful. And that's what this show is about. We're trying to find our ideal client, and that's who's listening right now. This isn't for the people who are satisfied, you know, with what they got, you know, with, you know, being busy, which is most PDR guys, right? That's what we've tried to escape, is just that illusion of feeling busy, even though, you know, you're busting your butt. And
I'm getting excited now for my own advice. I'm like, damn, I want to get out and shit, man. I am out there. I can't even sleep sometimes, man, because I got so many ideas going through me. I'm trying to write it down, and then I get home, get to the shop. I'm like, okay, what do I want to do first, right? And I look at my stuff. I'm like, well, I want to prioritize this. You know, my problem is I give myself too many ideas. I don't know which one I want to do first.
Yeah,
right.
And then, maybe that's it. Is we have to be willing to experiment, you know, because that's how we grow, right?
Yeah, and then I've got other background projects before I work on my big projects on myself, right? I'm actually building Cole Fox's site right now too. So his Denti Racer, it's a big site. So I get new ideas. I put them in him. I know his site's not done yet, but it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. It's a kind of a copycat of mine, but his is going to have mine's kind of like the tester, but we won't go into all that stuff. But I'm just saying, we can elaborate on this, but prioritize your ideas. Prioritize what's super important to you. Do what's exciting first for you, because that will lead one exciting thing to another exciting thing, right? Because you're happy that you did that. You completed that task, and now you need to build off that task.
Okay. Makes sense, man. Makes sense. So my next one is the rest of these are all going to be mindset things, and how we acclimate ourselves to be ready to work with our ideal client. And so number one is, or number two rather, remind yourself that everyone is not your customer. That's a hard concept it was hard concept for me to grasp early on. But I had to come to the conclusion that, you know, when I'm speaking out into the internet, the metaverse, or whatever you want to call it, there's going to be people who are just completely turned off by what I have to say, or what I look like, or how I'm doing things. And that's not my customer. Or you're going to get people who they're going to like what they see, but they're going to call and they have the wrong idea of what I'm providing. And the end of the story is that they don't value what I'm offering and what I'm offering it at. Those are not my customers, but I am confident because I know my customer, who they are, and who I deal with, and who finds tremendous value in this service that I provide. And I mean, shoot, I save their paint. I do it in less than a day. I do it at their location, what a body shop cannot do with 10 employees and even in with 2 or 3 weeks of having the car or longer, they cannot do what I do.
That's right. What, don't you find it kind of, I would call it, enlightening, right? Within 30 seconds, you know if they've actually investigated, know about you, or they don't, right? Because of the type of questions they've asked you,
Absolutely, yeah.
right? The first, a question that doesn't know you is, how much do you charge?
Yeah.
Right. I have a
Right.
little dent.
Mm-hmm. And
What's the best you can do? What's the best you can do? Right.
Yeah.
These type of questions, like, I've called other people. I'm looking for the best price.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Like right there and there, they didn't do their homework. Right. They don't know
Yep.
anything about Joe Garcia. They don't know anything about dent time.
Yeah.
They're just going from one thing to another, and they're not interested in that type of value that you have. They're interested into the cost, right? How much is it? I want the cheapest.
Right.
And that's why we had that thing. A cheap customer cares only about the cost, right?
Yep.
An educated customer cares about the value.
That's right.
So you have two different clients. You have the cheap client. You have actually I call it cheap customer, and then you have a loyal client. You have a lifetime client, right? Because once they come back, it's a client.
Right.
So the answer I 100% agree to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes they start out as a nacho, as we call them in the business, a nacho customer. Sometimes they start out that way, and that's where we have to educate them. That's our job, is to educate them. That goes into another one of mine item that it involves finding out their needs and asking them, letting them, it's not unreasonable for somebody to ask how much. I think we all want to know how much, but that's why we did, like you mentioned, the 1-minute videos of you're showing the transparency of pricing. Not everybody does, and I get that. It's not for everyone, but you and I, we show our pricing very frequently. Practically on every post I do, I show my pricing. And so when somebody comes in and, they have no clue of what my pricing is, I know they haven't done any research, and I know that there's a chance that that's going to be a nacho, but I don't completely pull the plug on them right then. I try and get a little more information. I try and ask them, what it is that their needs are. And I try and qualify them too. And if we're at a brick wall and they're just not feeling it, the price is way too high. I even before I get into the price, I'll say something as simple as, I'm not sure we're the right fit yet for you. That there might be a better fit if you're just looking for the cheap guy. If that's all you're concerned about is cheap, then I might not be the best fit. But if you are looking for a quality repair, if you're looking for a result that is very high quality and undetectable, then I'd be happy to help you.
Let me ask you a question like this, Joe. How much of how much time allow yourself to invest in a conversation that starts out where you believe that they're not quite yet a nacho customer, but how much time do you invest until you start going, okay, this is a nacho customer, and you let them go? Because I feel like your time is valuable on that phone.
Absolutely.
Right?
It absolutely is.
How much time do you give them? Or like what it's like, is there a certain stipulation, or is like, okay, that's time to go? When do you when would you say that statement?
That's a great question. It's a case by case basis for me. I have made the mistake of talking for long periods of time, and I'm talking like 30 minutes or more with a nacho. And this goes back to the early days when I was really trying to get my phone script together, but I really, you can waste so much time doing that, especially those of you guys who pay for advertising, where you're getting calls, just all day long. I don't. I'm very selective about how I market and all that, but also on the phone, and this does tie into another item that I have, and involves having a phone script and recording your conversations with your prospects. Because I think I learned to have break it down to a 3-minute conversation if they call me, first of all. And if they text me and if I see that the dent is going to be over a typical deductible, like over $500, I'm going to take a little bit more time to try and work with that person on the phone or build a rapport or figure out their needs.
Yeah.
Because there's more money at stake. It's a higher stakes game. You're going to be paid more for that. So I might spend 10 minutes on the phone with them, but if they're just texting me how much, I do that in a text, and I have my own script that I say, and it's basically in a nutshell, a very concise way of saying what I've already said about, hey, we might not be the best fit if you're just looking for a cheap guy, a cheap repair. But if you're looking for quality, then I'd love to help you. And I have videos to attach to that can help them, to educate them. But going back to your question about how long do I take, again, it's a case by case basis. There are verbal cues when somebody's trying to run the conversation, for example. And again, and this one ties into another one about setting boundaries. Somebody starts to try and get control of me over the conversation. I fire a warning shot. I pull them back a little bit, and usually along the terms of, I'm not quite sure we're the right fit just yet. Let's talk a little bit more about your vehicle, because they just want to know how much, right? How much? Well, what kind of car are we talking about here? What's the year, make, and model of your vehicle? Where's the dent located at? How did it happen? Things like that. And you slow them down. You pull them back. There is a certain amount of mirroring in sales that you do, to try and build rapport. But when somebody is just wasting your time, which nachos often do, you kind of have to pull the reins a little bit and get them to give you the information you're looking for, so that you can cut the conversation short. And you say, look, how do you cut the conversation short at that point? Well, that's when you drop the numbers. I just educated this person in a few minutes. We talked, we pushed, we pulled. And I'm talking about a person who's kind of wasting my time here now, right? And I know that we're not going to be a good fit. So I'll mention, you may want to consider someone else who's cheaper. Here's what the cost is going to be in the range of. And there's a polite way to do that, and not get them to get pissed off at you and leave you a negative review because you're so expensive, But you start talking numbers, that's a real quick way to get somebody off the phone. So I use that to my advantage. I use it.
I like you wait a second, we might not be the right fit. I need to get some more details from you. So that's pretty good. So say that again one more time, how you said that about the right fit.
We might not be the best fit if you're just looking for the cheapest.
No, you said something before that. You weren't there yet. You said this is a fire shot. You said you gave him a warning shot. You said, okay, well, let me ask you some more questions to see if we're the right fit for you, or like that. It was something like that. In that terms, was that right?
I think so. I'm trying to go back in the database here to find.
So I'll have to rewind this video, man, because the first time you said it was really good. So
yeah, we almost have to do a role play thing.
But it was a way that you said, okay, hold on a second, just want to make sure that we're the right fit here. So I need to ask you a couple more questions.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So something in that lines, right?
Basic questions.
You were like, okay, chill out for a second, dude. Let me ask you some questions. Let's make sure it's like, we're serious here, buddy. All right, I'm here to help you. I'm not here to give you everybody.
By the way, that's not for everyone, because there's people that don't want to deal with the serious guy. They don't want to deal with the pro. They don't even want to deal with you if you have a logo on your shirt. Okay.
I'm the opposite, man. I'm like, look, I'm looking for keywords about what this person is like, right? I'm opening it. The first 30 seconds, I want to hear what they're about. That's if I get on the phone, Joe. I'm not a phone person, man. Yeah, I'll text. And if there's a big ticket, $500 or more, I'm on the phone. Okay. Do you mind if I give you a call to talk to you about your price options or your repair options? That's what I say, your repair options. I don't say price yet.
Yes, that's right.
They go, sure. I get on the phone. Okay, well, what are we looking at here? You going through insurance or paying out of pocket? And if you're going through insurance, what's your deductible? I just need to answer these questions because I don't want to throw a price out yet, right?
Right.
Because what if they're paying out of pocket or going
Right.
through insurance or whatnot? I just need to know where they're coming from, right? And then I can work with that. So
yes,
I know we're getting a little off topic, but
no,
anyways,
that's okay.
we'll stay on track here. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Right.
anything else you want to add to that, Joe?
Well, that you said it. We have to remember in that conversation that we're not. It's there. They might not be just asking for a price too. You know, you almost want to leave the price for after. You want to educate them first.
That's why that's the main thing that they called, right? They want to know price
because everybody wants a low price. Because that's the other thing. They're not evil for wanting a low price.
No,
you know, they're evil if they want to reduce you to cheap labor, and you're not cheap labor. You know,
they don't respect
your
service. Yeah,
right. It's our job to educate them on and pull them back, pull the reins a little bit, and that's where video helps so much. You know, and showing that hey, we're not just I know there's a lot of really great dent repair technicians out there. They're on social media. They do awesome work. And the first thing these idiots do is they'll put, oh, it took me an hour and a half to do this big old smash, or 45 minutes or whatever. Stop.
They're giving the impression. They're giving the impression to the client. Wait, that's that's a false impression. They don't realize what kind of impression that they're giving them. Not really thinking about what the client thinks about it, right? Exactly, right? I get it.
Yeah.
Right. So cool. That's a good point, Joe. All right.
Okay, you're next.
Gosh, I got a lot. I'm trying to think which one I should do first, man. I think you said this one already. I'm going to skip that one for now. I'm going to come back to this one.
Okay.
Sell value, not price.
Okay.
All right. I think a lot of techs get in. We've said this before. A lot of people talk about price. Cheaper than the body shop. We're this, we're that, and they keep promoting how affordable or how cheap it is compared to any of their alternatives to a body shop. We need to retract from saying that and just push value. We come to you, no Carfax report, no paint, no repainting, done in hours, generally not days. That kind of portraying, and if you mix it into that type of marketing that you do, it brings your awareness about what you're really selling, right? You take away the cheap, the affordable, any of those that have to who are going to think about talking about price besides talk about price. If you take that out of the equation, you're more focused on what you're really talking about, right? What you're really selling. And you're selling an experience, you're selling the value of your company, you're selling a brand, right? Now, but when you try to sell price, none of that matters, dude. You look at that, right? The brand doesn't matter. The value doesn't matter.
Yeah.
None of that matters except one thing that you're talking about. And it's like a magnet of cheap customers and picky customers that just come to that word and go, I'll what's your cheap, and it opens you up for a friggin' just a big debacle about how cheap can you do it.
Yes.
So sell value, not price.
Not
right?
price. And value is not price. Yeah, I think we often as consumers, we all universally equate value. We're programmed from a young age to equate value with cheap, and that's what happens. We're dent guys, and we're kind of peasants, man. We come in to this as underdogs, and so we think, oh well, cheaper than the body shop, and it's got to be cheap, otherwise they're not going to want a dent repaired. No, man. No.
Value is more expensive than cost. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Value is more expensive than cost.
Elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, you like I said, if you sell value, you're going to get more money. If you
Yeah.
sell cost, which is a price, you're going to get less money.
Yeah.
It's funny when we try to sell the word money in our stuff, right? And how that is, we make less money. But when we sell anything else but
Yeah.
the money, and we sell the service, the brand, the experience, we get more money.
Right. The price tag attached to your repair or your service, rather, because it's more than just a repair. It's also the conversation you're having, whether it's text or phone call or in person, or whether you're mobile, whether you're brick and mortar. The price that's attached to it is just one element. There's so much more value to what you're providing, and it's all relative to
Oh.
what what you're doing. So
Your turn.
okay, so another mindset one. This one's kind of a long one. Stop thinking there is a going rate. There is no going rate. There's just you and a bunch of desperate dent guys in your market. Somebody has got to stop the madness and stop focusing on price and start focusing on serving the client in the best possible way, in your unique way of doing it.